So, November 24th is my birthday, and last year I turned 30 years old, and I received my divorce papers in the mail right around my birthday. And I was out of town, and I came home, opened the mailbox to find my divorce papers inside, and it was just such an interesting feeling when I got those papers. I was waiting for the emotions to come. I was waiting for the anger, for the sadness, for the grief. I was waiting for just anything to take me over, thinking that it was going to really catapult me once I finally received these papers. But what I actually felt was just total completion. And in April, a year and a half ago, before this, I actually moved out. Moved into the house that I am currently in. And this house is right next to a mountain and a hiking trail. And through this period, the last year and a half, I went into the deepest, darkest depths of myself. I went into every shadow. I went into every part of me that co created my past relationship. I actually did an ayahuasca ceremony March a year and a half ago, and that was the first time I really saw the ways that I was co-creating my relationship and my reality. I actually saw this relationship through the eyes of my ex-husband, and I saw it through all of my own shadows, the ways that I hurt him, through my words, through my actions, through the things that I did, through the ways that I didn't show up. But ultimately, what it taught me is how I truly had abandoned myself. And the love that I was giving him was the ultimate love that I had for myself, which was very, very minimal. And I learned that I actually didn't have a lot of self love. I didn't have a lot of deeper connection to myself. I didn't understand these other parts of myself, these shadow aspects, these things that created a lot of silent suffering because I suffered in silence a lot through my marriage the last few years. I really just sat in a silent suffering and I didn't know that I was creating this disconnect more deeply in that. And this ayahuasca journey really, I'm so grateful for this medicine and what it has really allowed me to expand into to see because it's allowed me to see the unconscious parts of my own self and my own being, my own psyche. And I saw how I am the ultimate co creator of everything. So, where I put so much blame and where I wanted to, you know, really just blame him for all of the things, it was really like self acceptance, radical self acceptance of me co-creating everything. So the only person to blame was really myself. And I mean, it takes two to be in a relationship. Relationships are never ever one-sided. So whenever you think you're right or you're blaming the other person, it's a really hard but good thing to reflect on your own actions and yourself and your own psyche and how you're pushing this person away and how you're creating the dynamics within your relationships. And I'm so grateful for that journey because it really allowed me to recognize that I needed to step away, that I needed to connect back to myself, but I didn't know what that truly was going to mean. So I chose to move out. I chose to get a house. I chose a lot of things. I put myself in a lot of financial situations and got a house that I really couldn't afford. That I spent a little bit too much money on, and I can laugh about it now because in the moment it was really fucking hard. I was struggling and I was, physically, mentally, emotionally just exhausted, drained myself completely. And all I had to show with for it was this house that I sat in all alone, a four-bedroom home that I was just in all by myself for 6 months. I navigated the darkest parts of myself, and I'm actually so grateful that I had this hiking trail and this nature in front of me because it allowed me to connect to nature in a whole nother level, to allow it to be a witness of my journey, to really allow it to hold me in the depths. And nature was my biggest support through all of this. And It's wild to think that a year has passed because I feel like lifetimes have shifted. I've done many medicine journeys. I've done a lot of ancestral work. I've released a lot out of my body. I've gone into the archives to learn from my emotions and my ego and the ways that it has held me back for so long. And what it truly allowed me to do, what this divorce allowed me to do, was really come home to myself, to come back to myself, to come back to my essence, to come back to loving every part of me, no matter how hard it was to love sometimes, how I wished that wasn't a part of me, how, the suffering, the depression, the anxiety, the really lower vibrational things, the shame, the fear, the unworthiness, all of these things were a part of me. And I had to fully accept them, and I had to fully see them, and I had to fully be held in them, and I had to hold myself in them. And with nature's support and the support of divine energy, God, creator, source, universe, I was able to transmute and alchemize so much in this last year. And that's why I feel like it truly was lifetimes of shifting that have happened, because I allowed it to be the catapult into my self discovery, into my own depths. And I can't I can't share enough how much of an indicator it is when you are having problems in relationships and dynamics. It's oftentimes a reflection of your own inner world and your own psyche. And people and relationships are always reflecting that to you. Always a reflection. It's always a reflection in every dynamic that you're in. Why you call relationships in, why you call friendships in, why you call partnerships in, family dynamics. It's all a reflection of ourselves. And it's really, really a beautiful journey in going into that reflection and seeing it in a whole new lens. And nature is also reflecting to us all the time the imperfections and the beauty that is constantly here in nature to hold us, to support us, to ground us, to anchor us back into this earth. Because before we can really shoot off and go to divine source creator, we have to be anchored in. We have to be rooted in ourself and our self love and our depths and our trenches. We have to anchor this part of ourself in first. And then we can really expand into the divine and into this bigger path, this bigger plan, this divine plan that is always supporting us. Always, always, always deeply supporting us. So, this last year has taught me so much, and I wouldn't change a single part of it because I know every single part of my life the last year was so divinely orchestrated, so divinely perfect that if anything was shifted, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be here talking the way that I'm talking right now, and my lens would be completely different. My perspective would be different. It's just those microcosm moments that create the macro of our life. It's every little subtlety, every tiny, tiny little subtlety, every macro tiny moment that creates the whole. And as humans, we are a part of that tiny macro whole collective consciousness. But I'm going to end it there because there's so much I could go into. This will be a separate video, but I just wanted to share the reflection of relationship and how connecting to the divine really connected to the divine union within myself. And that's the path we're on right now, is union. Connecting to divine union, connecting to that unlimited unconditional support and love that we have all the time supporting us. So, thank you. I love you.